Thank you, ma'am, for your vision on how we can transform our state into space that promote health, sustainability, and well-being is truly inspiring. Now, I'd like to invite the last speaker of afternoon session, Mr. Albert Raja, Chennai Unified Metropolitan Transport Authority, to give his valuable speech on integrated transport planning and Chennai's urban features. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. புரியுது எல்லாருக்கும் பயங்கரமாக பசிக்குதுன்னு என்னோட பயாலஜிக்கல் கிளாக்கும் என்னென்னா அலாரம் கொடுத்துருச்சு பிரெயினுக்கு. ஸோ ஐ வில் ட்ரை டு க்ளோஸ் இட் இன் 10 minutes so that we can quickly go for lunch. Okay. So next, okay, I have the. Okay. What I am going to present today is that everyone is talking about urban planning, lot of things, lot of concepts and principles related to urban planning. So most of you may not be well versed with what is urban planning. So I will try to give you a taste of what is urban planning, how we prepare plans, or how we structure the growth of the city. So next. Okay. So since I am from Chennai, நான் சென்னையை பற்றி தான் கதை சொல்ல போகிறேன். ஸோ சென்னை வந்து பார்த்திங்கன்னா initially it was 1189 square kilometers, 1189 square kilometers. So due to several reasons, one is the core city got saturated. அங்கே அதுக்கு மேலே மக்கள் வாழ்கிறதுக்கு இடம் இல்லாத ஒரு சூழ்நிலை. Then another thing is like பெரியர்பனில் வந்து என்னென்னா பெரியர்பன் means immediate surrounding to the city got unorganized development, or what I would say unregulated sprawl. Understanding these two things, and another thing is like major investment is coming into Chennai, and the entire region has to be seen together as a single entity. Government has expanded the Chennai metropolitan area to 5904 square kilometers. So in the image you are seeing a red patch, that is the original Chennai metropolitan area. Now it has been expanded to all other areas that I have shown in the map. Okay. So next slide. Entire region apathe I am going to give you a small hint that entire region has almost like 4,318 buses operated in 900 plus routes, and 54 kilometers of metro system operating, and it has under construction 108 kilometers, biggest construction activity in Asia, and 258 kilometers of railway network where suburban trains are being operated. Then Chennai being a coastal city, it has leveraged the coastal benefits to the maximum potential possible. It has 3 ports, one historical port, that is Chennai port, and another one is Ennur port, and third one is Kattapalli port, newly upcoming port. So Chennai being the gateway to the southern region of the country, it has an international port, Chennai International Port. Then newly proposed Parandud Airport, newsல அடிக்கடி பார்த்துருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன், lot of issues. So next slide. So if you see this image, you can understand that how the region is evolving. The image on the right side indicates that how the city is growing. The darker red is the oldest part of the city. It is slowly expanding, and the city is growing towards east and south. So in the map mala, if you put on transportation network, you will be able to see how the city is structured and how it is interacting with each other. Inside the region, how the movement is happening. So second image is with transportation network, that is roads, railways, metro, and other transport networks. So if we actually bring this city into a structure, it will look like this, the third image. It will have radials, 6 radials, then rings. There are 3 rings actually. One ring is now it is inside the city. Now you can't say that it is a ring road. It's called inner ring road. Then another one is outer ring road. Now the third ring is coming up, peripheral ring road. Now we are thinking about whether we need third ring road, orbital road. So the city is growing in radial and ring fashion, and it is having some new towns which are now interacting with the primate city. Primate city ingiradhu and the periya circle onu potrukala, that is Chennai. So all other small circles are small towns which are in the region. People are traveling from that place to the primate city daily basis, at least 2 hours travel. So Kanjipuram people are traveling to the town, and Chengalpattu people are traveling to the town. Arakonam people are traveling to the town for employment and educational purposes. Okay, next slide. So this presentation is a summary of an exercise which was done by a group of officers, experts and students belonging to different departments. Chennai Metropolitan Development Authority, Kumta, then Metro Rail Limited, State Highways Department, Corporation. நாங்கள் எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து வந்து we have brainstormed together with the available secondary data, and we have prepared a strategical plan for the Chennai metropolitan area to develop as a megapolis so that it can be a economic driver for the state. So city na next slide. So what is city means? City is opportunity. Opportunity to whom? Opportunity to people to stay and to work. So people ஒரு இடத்துல தங்கணும்னா it has to be affordable, right? So first basic thing in urban planning is to you have to assess the demand for housing. So what we did is like next slide. We have we have projected the population. Presenta vandu pathina there are like 90 lakh people are staying in the metropolitan area as per 2011 census. So we have projected to the current year. It is 1.5 crores population. So we have projected it for another 40 years. So we came to know that the entire metropolitan area is going to have twice the population of what it is having right now. So 3 crore people are going to live in this entire metropolitan area. So இவங்க எல்லாரும் எப்படி எங்கே தங்க வைக்க போகிறோம்? ஆல்ரெடி பிரைமேட் சிட்டி இஸ் சேச்சுரேட்டட். க்ரோத் வந்து என்னன்னா நெகட்டிவ் க்ரோத் இஸ் ஹேப்பனிங் இன் த பிரைமேட் சிட்டி. ஸோ and another thing is like how these people are going to afford housing in that entire metropolitan region where the per square feet rate is very very costly. 2,500, 3,500, some places it is 25,000 rupees also. நான் சொல்கிறது ஸ்கொயர் ஃபீட் ஆஃப் லேண்டோட வேல்யூ சொல்கிறேன். ஸோ in that case we have to develop growth centers in the metropolitan region. So first what we did is like we have assessed the demand. Next slide. So 2011 census body there was deficit in terms of housing. Almost like 20 lakh people are living either renting or either living in an unconditional unserviceable homes or in a very poor living conditions. So next slide. So with that we have assessed the demand. Then this demand is from people, right? People belonging to different income groups. Economically weaker section அப்படின்னா BPL is below economically weaker section. So என்னன்னா BPL-க்கும் low income group-க்கும் நடுவில் ஒரு section இருக்குது, that is called economically weaker section. 23% of the population are living in economically weaker section, and 58% populations are belonging to low income groups, and 13% population is belonging to middle income group, and 5% is from affluent society. So we have distributed the demand to the income group. Next slide. So in the demand group distribute பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் we have assessed the demand from each income group. So அப்படி பார்க்கும்போது என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா different income groups requires different kind of a housing. எல்லாருக்குமே வில்லா தேவை கிடையாது. Economically weaker section may require a basic house so that they can reside and they can commute. Whereas high income group may require some villa kind of a house so that they can enjoy all other amenities like swimming pool அந்த கதெல்லாம் மற்றதெல்லாம் இருக்குது. So with that we have fixed the price of single unit. Per unit oda cost we have fixed, and construction cost அப்படியே இருக்க போகிறதே கிடையாது. Most of you are civil engineers, எனக்கு தெரியும் நினைக்கிறேன். Construction cost will increase over the period. Okay, so then we have projected the construction cost. அந்த left side இருக்கிற graph is indicating the construction cost with this fixed inflation of 6% per annum. Okay, next slide. ஸோ அப்படி போகும்போது என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா எக்கனாமிக்கலி வீக்கர் செக்ஷனுக்கு ஹவுஸுக்கு அவர் ஒருத்தர் வீடு வாங்குறதுக்கு வாட் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் அ சப்போர்ட் தட் கவர்மெண்ட் ஹேஸ் டு ப்ரொவைட் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஃபார் ஹிம் 100% சப்போர்ட் ஹேஸ் டு பி கிவ் ஃப்ரம் த கவர்மெண்ட். whereas middle income group or low income group half of the support has to be given by the government through subsidy or whatever. Middle income group they can very well afford a house provided that they should get some kind of a credit from the banks or something. So enabling provisions on that matter has to be the responsibility of the government. For us high income group naturally they can able to afford house. The only thing is like private sector should be enabled to provide housing to them. So next slide. In that regard we have worked out the amount of fund that government has to spend to provide housing for the people those who are going to reside in metropolitan area. Government is going to pay 100% to the economically weaker section houses, 50% to the low income group houses, and 10 percentage to the middle income group houses, no nothing for high income group houses. So அப்படி ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணும்போது what we came to know is like per annum government has to spend at least 11,412 million US dollars to meet the demand, which is insane actually, which is not at all possible by the government. So we came up with some other alternate mechanisms like to enable private players to get into the sector and provide housing to the socially lower strata society. So the mechanisms that we have proposed on the green box and the blue box, it is there, slum TDR nu solli or mechanism, transferable development rights in. Then creating a market for transferable development rights, because in Ahmedabad through slum TDR they are providing affordable housing to the economically weaker section and low income groups. So these two things we have started working on, and we have prepared the proposal. It was with government has to give approval. Apart from that, several other credit linked incentives we have opened up. So next important component is environment. Even chairman also spoke about climate change, environment, all those things. So climate change, environment, all these things has to be conserved, and we have to protect the environmental natural features like water bodies, forest areas, greeneries and all. So Chennai தெரியும் எல்லாருக்குமே என்னன்னா நவம்பர் டிசம்பர் and January month is the month of flood வரக்கூடிய மாதங்கள் இந்த 3 மாதமே. எதனாலன்னா it has 4 rivers, அடையார், கூவம், கொசஸ்தலை and பாலார் river is running through the metropolitan area. So often resulting in flooding because of all the problems in the micro drainages. Construct பண்ணும்போதுனா usually it was not done according to the contour, first point. Second point is like it was not continuous. Because of that, here and there water is getting stagnated. Because of that, people are facing a lot of flooding issues. So duly understanding that, what we did is like we have prepared the inundation map. Another important thing is like being a coastal city, Chennai is always prone to get affected by inundation. அதாவது என்னன்னா sea water rise ஆகும்போது Chennai will get affected. So we have worked out the flood inundation also for the Chennai metropolitan area, and flooding also. Then we have identified areas which are not suitable for any kind of development, areas which shouldn't be touched, shouldn't be urbanized. So after understanding these areas, we came to know we need so much demand for housing, and we can provide only this housing in this particular area. So now we have to distribute the demand to across the Chennai metropolitan area. So that we started in housing. Next. Okay. So what we are showing is like areas which are getting affected by flood, areas which are prone for inundation. So these areas should be avoided for any future development. So they identify pannitom. Then we have got into the development plan preparation process. Next. Okay, next slide. So after analyzing the land requirement and all those things, now we started distributing across the Chennai metropolitan area. As I mentioned earlier, the core city, that is Chennai, which is mentioned in the center, is almost saturated. It has to go through redevelopment. Redevelopment is a long-term process, and it requires a lot of regulatory relaxations, lot of focused efforts by the government. So what we thought is like initially we have to develop growth centers in the metropolitan area, and we have identified major intersections like public major intersections where road is having good connectivity or rail connectivity irukra mari places we have identified, and we have proposed allocated spaces for future development. So next slide. So after allocation, the entire metropolitan got a structure, and we have proposed almost like 5 new kind of development in the metropolitan region. One is existing growth centers has to be upgraded and developed. Existing growth centers like Sriberumbuthur, Kanchipuram, Thiruvallur and Gummudipundi and Thambaram. All these locations we have identified as a potential places which can receive future in-migration or future population. So we suggested all these new towns all these existing growth centers has to be upgraded. And second is like developing new growth centers, so that sustainable or inclusive growth centers can be developed. We have suggested Minjur and Periyapalayam as a new growth centers. Then satellite towns for helping the residential requirements of the primate city. அது வந்து என்னென்னா அரக்கோணம், செங்கல்பட்டு we have suggested as a satellite towns, and since Parandur new airport is coming, we told the Parandur area entire region has to be developed as a aerotropolis airport city ன்னு சொல்லி சொல்லலாம். அந்த மாதிரி டெவலப் பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி நம்ம we have suggested. So now transportation point of view, as I mentioned in the statistics I have already given, the biggest problem that is existing in Chennai metropolitan area is that continuous growth of private vehicle population and private trips. So in the graph, if you see, next slide please, next slide. So if you see in that table, இதில் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா public transport share, public transportங்கிறது என்னன்னா bus, train and metro was almost like 54% in 1970. But in the current scenario, old CMA 2023, if you see that this has come down to somewhere around 20%. So this is the biggest issue that Chennai is facing right now. Lot of traffic congestion and lot of traffic related problems is a result of this particular phenomena. Whereas two-wheeler, if you see, it was 2% in 1970. Now 34% of the trips are happening through two-wheelers. In case of Tirunelveli, என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா 41% of trips are happening through two-wheelers. 15% of the trips are happening through cars. Whereas public transport, bus மட்டும் தான் இப்போ நமக்கு இருக்கிற ஒரே public transport, that is 23%. But ஆனால் என்னன்னா per kilometer travel பண்ணுறதுக்கு how much will be the cost in these different kinds of mode. In case of Tirunelveli பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா two-wheelers, the cost is around 6.9 rupees per kilometer. Whereas bus, it is 4.5 rupees per kilometer. So ultimately, in order to decongest the city, in order to make the city a better place or a better efficient mechanism, we have to promote public transport. That is the funda. So keeping that in mind, we have started connecting all these growth centers. Growth centers kadaila, the principle that we kept is like, as of now, if someone travels from Chennai to Arakonam, it will take at least 2 to 3 hours. So we have brought in a principle that 45 minutes anywhere in the metropolis, people should be able to travel. So accordingly, what we did is like, we have proposed several corridors. The last slide I will show. Next punga. Okay, sorry. Previous slide. Okay. So this is that different growth centers, how it is going to get connected. So our principle is that minimum 2 to 3 hours travel இப்போ இருக்குது, that has to be reduced to 45 minutes. So next. Okay. So productive land development தான் என்னன்னா எங்கே இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் வரப்போகுது, எங்கே எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் ஜென்ரேட் ஆக போகுது அப்படிங்கிறது ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டண்டான விஷயம் ஃபார் எனி சிட்டி டெவலப்மெண்ட். So as of now, Chennai, as we know, it is a biggest employment opportunity generating hub. So what we did is like, we have identified what has happened past years, 1971 to 2006, how industrialization or industrial development or economic development happened in Chennai metropolitan area. We have studied that. Next slide. Then we have assessed what kind of a workforce that we will have in the horizon period. அது என்னன்னா 2021 61 வரைக்கும் what kind of a productive population that we will have. Professor was mentioning about that demographic dividend. He has shown உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பிரமிட் காமிச்சிருப்பாங்க. அந்த பிரமிடில் வந்து என்னென்னா ஏஜும் செக்ஸையும் வச்சுட்டு என்னென்னா எந்த ஏஜ் குரூப்பில் எவ்வளோ மக்கள் இருக்கிறாங்க அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி காமிச்சிருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அதில் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 18 to 60, அதுதான் வந்து என்னென்னா ப்ரொடக்டிவ் பாப்புலேஷன், த பாப்புலேஷன் ஹூ இஸ் லீகலி அலோவ் டு ஒர்க் அண்ட் மேக் மணி ஸோ தட் எக்கனாமிக் என்ஜின் வில் ரன். ஸோ அந்த பாப்புலேஷன் ஆங்கிளில் பார்க்கும்போது என்னென்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 2021 ஆல்மோஸ்ட் லைக் we will have 63 lakh population வந்து என்னென்னா half of the population will be productive population இருப்பாங்க. இப்போ இந்த ப்ரொடக்டிவ் பாப்புலேஷனுக்கு தேவையான எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இஃப் வி டோன்ட் கிவ், வாட் வில் ஹேப்பன் இஸ் லைக் லாட் ஆஃப் ஆன்டி சோஷியல் activities will come up. So employment generation is the very very basic thing for any city to sustain and any city to be happy. So in that regard, we have next slide, we have identified key sectors where actually Chennai can focus on, and key corridors which can be developed as employment generating corridors. Next slide. Okay, so entire metropolitan area was conceived as a chessboard, and in that chessboard each key or each growth centers were seen as a chess அந்த இதை மாதிரி நம்ம பார்க்கும்போது என்னென்னா ஃபஸ்ட்டு வந்து primate city that is the core Chennai city will always be the king, which will be the major source of employment and economic activity, whereas several other towns will act as a major economic drivers like Sriperumbudur is known for all its manufacturing activities, automobile manufacturing activities. அதே மாதிரி என்னென்னா மீஞ்சூர் will also act as a economic driver of the metropolis. Apart from that, several other new business districts has to be developed. அது எங்கன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பெரியபாளையம் is one particular location where government is trying to attract investments from the world so that they can develop a knowledge city in that particular area. And another one important town is the Kanjipuram. Now it is being conceived as a heritage town for the entire metropolitan area. And several other service districts and metropolis has to be developed. So this kind of a productive growth strategy was conceived for Chennai metropolitan area. So corridors for future economic activity and employment generation, we have proposed manufacturing corridors, warehousing corridors. Since Chennai is a port city having a lot of potential for import, export and that economic activity, so we have identified growth corridors for warehousing, manufacturing, infrastructure, information and technology. Then so after identifying all these corridors, now we have come up with a strategy to guide the development of Chennai metropolitan area so that in future it can be developed as a megapolis. Next. Okay. So first, one by one. Okay. So first one, if you see, the entire region has to be restructured. All these new towns has to get new separate plans. எப்படி வந்து என்னன்னா நம்ம வந்து population, how it is going to be distributed, how the land is going to be used, all those things we are discussing right now. Likewise, each new towns, a separate plan has to be prepared. All these growth center has to get separate plans. Second one, all these growth centers has to be connected with each other and also to the primate city. And this connection should enable people from these growth centers next to travel to the primate city or to the any other places within 45 minutes through rapid rail transit system. Then along this corridor, employment generation has to be proposed. Fifth one. So that and the new airport which is being proposed should be conceived as a gateway to international collaboration. So this is the overall thing that we have prepared. Since I am part of KUMTA, I would like to mention a couple of other things. For the first time in the country, we are going to introduce integrated ticketing system. That means that in order to ensure multimodal travel, we are going to introduce, you can travel in metro, bus and suburban rail using a single ticket. In the system we are going to introduce. And another thing is like to enable all these projects implementation, we have created several committees. These committees are as of now coordinating with each other. So for the students, I would like to mention one more thing. This is the plan preparation process. இப்படி தான் ஒரு urban planner ஓட work இருக்கும். So this sector has a huge potential. So நம்ம தமிழ்நாடுலனா அண்ணா யூனிவர்சிட்டியில் there is a course called Masters in Urban Planning. And next year we are going to start Masters in Transportation Planning also. So if you are interested, you can actually look into this sector. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring speech on Chennai